Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Future of Work Week's first keynote session. I'm Josh Chung from People Matters, and we're excited to launch Indeed's Future of Work Research, Job Recovery in a Smart Nation, Employer and Job Seeker Perspectives on Singapore's Tech Future. The Singapore government has responded to the COVID-19 crisis with aggressive investment in digital infrastructure to support economic growth. Crucial to the success of this initiative will be the private sector support, job seeker training, and skills development. The research findings measure shifting practices and attitudes as employees and employers alike navigate change, create more opportunities, and build a stronger community in 2021. Today we have with us Sabrina Zulkifli, Employer Brand Program Manager, APAC at Indeed, and will be taking us through the findings of the research. Sabrina started her career in 2010 as a journalist for Human Resources magazine before becoming its regional deputy editor. She then moved into a talent employee communication role at Group M APAC, where she also led its D&I initiative, All Means All. In 2018, Sabrina moved to Indeed, joining as the Employee Brand Program Manager for APAC, where she now works closely with the talent traction team, both in APAC and globally, to ensure they're both finding the best talent as Indeed continues on its mission of helping people get jobs. Welcome, Sabrina. It's great to have you here with us today, and we can't wait to hear your insights.
Thanks, Josh.
Awesome. So now before we get started, we have two quick polls for our attendees. So if everyone could go to www.menti.com and use the code 26 54 67 59 to participate in the first poll question. So I think we'll be sending the link as well in the chat. For those who missed it, it's www.menti.com and the code is 26 54 67 59. And our first question is, with the new world of work, which is your key priority area for this year? So is it recruitment, employee brand? Is it D&I? Is it candidate experience, internal mobility? Feel free to put in your answer now. Cool, so currently we've got candidate experience leading in the poll right now. Anything to add there, Sabrina?
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I think, for the first time, many of us are having to recruit virtually. We're having to start jobs virtually. It's something that's never really happened before in the history of the economy. So I'm not surprised that this is something that companies are taking quite seriously to make sure that candidates feel comfortable, they feel welcome, and I'm glad to know that companies are kind of putting that top of the agenda for them.
Absolutely. And second, we have coming in at a tie, employer brand and D&I.
I mean, that keeps me employed. So I'm very happy to know that everybody's still prioritizing employee brand, as well as diversity and inclusion. Again, no big surprises there. We're in a really different way of working at the moment. So again, I'm happy to know that these are the areas that employers are paying attention to at the moment.
Yep, great. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your insights on the first poll. I think we'll move on to our second poll at this time. So once again, please go to menti.com and use the same code. The second question should be coming up shortly. So our second question is as follows. How ready is your current TA function to achieve business priorities in today's context? So the first response would be, we are ready and very sure about achieving business goals. Secondly, we are ready, but our TA strategy is not completely aligned with business priorities. Third is, we are not ready, but we are upskilling our TA team. And fourth, we are not ready and still planning our way forward. Okay. And we have a leader. So a lot of you have said that we are not ready, but we are upskilling our TA team. Sabrina, did you have anything to add on that point?
No, it's pretty interesting how it's almost twice. Well, it is twice all the other options, and
Yeah,
hopefully the insights from today's survey may inspire some of those listening, and help them just get ready for the year ahead.
absolutely. And help them find a path forward. Cool. So, I mean, thank you everyone for participating in that short poll. I think what we'll do now is we'll move on to the actual session. And without further ado, I would like to hand over the time to Sabrina to take you through the research. Sabrina, over to you.
Thanks, Josh, and thanks everyone for taking part in that quick poll. Again, it just gives us a little bit of context around the way of the economy at the moment. And like I mentioned, hopefully this just gives you a little bit of insights and a little bit of prep into some of the things you can consider as we're starting to plan or keep planning for the year ahead. Just gonna get my screen up for you now. There we go, thank you. So let's jump right into it. Again, I hope you find this really helpful. This survey was put together by an independent market research provider, Censuswide, and represents a sample of 1,000 employees and 250 employers in the tech, banking, finance, and enterprise sectors here in Singapore. Now, we're going to start off just looking at everything a little bit broadly, and looking at job recovery in a smart nation. No surprises here, COVID-19 has caused profound shifts within the local businesses and the wider labor market. However, there is some good news, and that is despite the disruption we have faced as an economy, Singapore's white-collar workforce has remained relatively protected. So what does that actually mean? Around 7% of the people in finance, technology, enterprise, and enterprise industries were made jobless in the past 12 months, and mobility between roles remained high, with 1 in 10 changing roles in the same period. However, this doesn't mean that workers were unaffected. More than 1 in 4 said that their wages fell in the past year, and the segment that was most likely to experience wage falls were those on incomes between $27,000 and $45,000, where 35% experienced lower wages in that same period. Employees were also concerned about job security. Despite the relative insulation of these workers from labor market upheavals, only 1 in 4 said that they felt their job was more secure as a result of the pandemic, whereas 1 in 2 said that they felt their employment was less secure. So when we kind of look at it from the business perspective, we found that employers in finance, technology, and the enterprise space in Singapore, navigating through the COVID pandemic, have taken a variety of measures to respond to the changes brought about by the local pandemic. Nearly half of employers surveyed have said that they are investing in mental health programs as well as remote work support to sustain a distributed workforce. Over the coming year, employers see the difficulty of hiring skilled workers as a major challenge, with 38% of respondents saying that assessing technological skills or hiring a skilled workforce were the two biggest hurdles they anticipate to clear. Regulatory burdens on the industry were also cited as a challenge by more than a quarter of our respondents. You can also see here that enterprise organizations were less likely to identify regulatory burdens as their greatest challenge compared to their peers in banking, finance, or technology. When we look at business impact, 29% of employers said that they have had to cut revenue forecasts, while only 14% have had to increase them or have chosen to increase them. More than a third have introduced remote work practices, as I'm sure many of you have. And within the enterprise space, this is a far greater percentage at 60% of companies with employees currently working from home or working remotely. Unsurprisingly, technology spend has also increased in a third of our respondents, with the banking and finance industries the most likely to have increased their expenditure. There is a majority view among employers that the COVID pandemic has increased the pace of digitization, with 56% supporting this proposition. So let's take a deeper look at those attitudes towards technology and skill. Just over a quarter of the employees surveyed said that they believe skills like leadership, creativity, and teamwork are more useful than technological skills like coding and data analysis. Another quarter believed that the opposite was true, while almost half of employees surveyed said that they believe them to be equally important. When we break the data further, we find that over half of female employees believe that both sides of the skill sets are equally important, compared to just 40% of male employees. Additionally, 31%, or nearly a third of employees surveyed with a wage of 27,000 Singapore dollars or less, said that they believe skills like leadership, creativity, and teamwork are more useful than technological skills like coding and data analysis, while 20% of employees surveyed with wages of 81,000 Singapore dollars to 99,000 Singapore dollars said the same. Over on the employer side, 43% of employers surveyed said that technical skills like coding and data analysis were more important than skills like leadership, creativity, and teamwork, while 38% supported the opposing statement. That said, only 18% of employers surveyed said that they believe they were equally important. And again, when we break down that data, we cover a little bit more. Just over 2 in 5, for 41% of employers surveyed between 50 to 99 employees, said that skills like leadership, creativity, and teamwork are more useful than technological skills like coding and data analysis, whereas just over a fifth, or 21% of employers surveyed with 250 to 500 employees said the same. And just over half of employers surveyed with a company turnover of 18 million Singapore dollars to 89.99 million Singapore dollars said that technical skills like coding and data analysis were more important than leadership, creativity, and teamwork, while 40% of employers with a turnover of 180 million Singapore dollars to 899 million Singapore dollars said the same. So really interesting insights based on how big or how much revenue a company is making. That said, how are businesses and how are employees leaning into this challenge? Again, I don't think it's a big surprise that 87% of employees said that their interest in acquiring new technological skills have increased in the past 12 months. Of those surveyed, nearly 3/4 have already enrolled into a program to study or acquire these skills, or they intend to do so in the next 12 months. For those seeking new technological skills, digital transformation was the area of greatest interest, with 26% of respondents indicating a primary interest in training in this area. This is followed by data analytics at 23% and cybersecurity at 18% as the top areas of interest for employees. Still amongst employees, the top motivations for learning new technological skills are job security, cited by nearly 1 in 3 respondents, followed closely by the opportunity to engage in more interesting work, increasing earning power, and enjoying better working conditions. So really kind of taking advantage of some of the challenges and flipping that around for their own personal and professional development, which is great. On that same note, employers are increasingly seeking to acquire workers with technological skills to power their accelerated business digitalization efforts. A majority of employers surveyed have delivered training in the use of technological tools such as video conferencing or document management as remote work continues to become the norm. Nearly 1 in 2 employers have engaged in workplace delivery of hard tech skills like coding, data analysis, and AI. And in enterprise organizations, these figures are much higher. 9 in 10 employers have done so. A majority of employers surveyed also said that they have delivered training in using technological tools as well as technological skills, remote workplace training, and also delivering mental health programs internally to all their staff. Digital transformation and change management have always been two of the most desirable skills, probably now so more so now than ever. Here we see there is a strong alignment between employee interests and business needs when it comes to tech training. More than 1 in 3 employers have identified digital transformation and or change management as critical to their future plans. However, it is also the one skill that employers are finding hardest to source in the current labor market. It ranks first, with 29% of employers saying it's the most difficult to assess, ahead of coding and AI, both coming in at 25%. This is also the greatest area of interest for employees seeking to upskill, with 26% saying that it's their number one area of interest, again ahead of data analytics at 23% and cybersecurity at 18%. And lastly, looking at some of the data points around building a smart nation plan. There is a strong awareness of and support for the Singapore government's Smart Nation program, both amongst employers and employees. We found that 83% of employees and 97.9% of employers know that there are government efforts to help people develop new technological skills or further develop their technological skills. Net support for these efforts among employees are high, with 89% of employees saying that they either strongly approve or approve of current government programs to deliver tech training. Employers also recognize Singapore as a leader in developing population-wide technological skills. A majority, or 57% of employers, agree that government-led digital transformation efforts help their industry digitize by building a digital culture and infrastructure. However, a significant minority, at 41%, say that government programs are currently hampering their own efforts to compete for hard-to-source talent. I hope you enjoyed that very quick sneak peek at some of the findings, and we will have more information for you soon. We will be launching this report in the next coming weeks in the media as well as through HR associations here in Singapore. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll pass it back over to Josh.
Thank you, Sabrina, and thank you for sharing those really interesting insights. There's so much to be learned there. And with this, we're going to wrap up today's very quick session. Once again, we'd like to thank our partner Indeed and Sabrina for the invaluable information that you shared with us today. For our attendees, I would like to inform you that we also have another exciting panel discussion on the topic building a diverse workforce for the future of work, scheduled for tomorrow from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Singapore time, for which all of your calendars are already booked. We will be joined by leading industry experts from Singapore and the Southeast Asia region for this session, so please join us. With this, we'd like to conclude today's keynote session. Thank you for joining us and have a great day ahead. And let's continue to reinvent recruitment for the new world of work. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Sabrina.